30. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State. Warwick got up third down.
Winky looking Winky. Wants to throw the knockout punch to Warwick. Warwick open. Touchdown. He does a touchdown. He did catch it. Touchdown, Florida State. Oh, Peter Warwick, how'd you do that?
Kermit Whitfield to the left side. A hole to the 30. Kermit Whitfield 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU. Kermit Whitfield. A 100-yard touchdown.
Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Throws the pass on the other.
It's caught. It's caught. It's caught. Touchdown FSU. Kelvin Benjamin.
We're doing it for everybody. We're doing it big all over the country, all over the world. And I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Florida State Seminole.
This is the Garnet and Old podcast with your hosts, Ryan Eastman and Vince Ciccarelli.
Welcome to the Garnet and Old podcast. Another week, another entry into our wonderful home that we call Garnet and Old. Vince, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Garnet and Old. No inside info, no context. Lots of problems this evening.
Yeah.
To start off.
No equipment, no problems.
Right. Here we are. But we're only a couple minutes late. So those of you that are timely people, I apologize. But we're here.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're in the middle, honestly, of a really exciting spring practice going on, Vince. Have you been keeping up?
I have been keeping up. We talked about this a couple months ago, Ryan. You're kind of in the deep end. You're in the deep end pretty much 24/7, right?
Try to be.
I'm kind of in the deep end right about now through football season. So I'm starting to get real deep in that. Normally, I might be in the kiddie pool, during January, February.
Sure. Well, I want to start it off. I think right off the bat, we heard some really encouraging stuff about our own quarterback that has really, I think, turned a lot of heads since he came here. Jordan Travis turning heads in spring ball already. I think he was described as remarkable.
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard the remarkable tag. And you said he's been turning heads since he's been here. When he first got here, it was turning heads, sometimes maybe not so great ways. Definitely from an athleticism standpoint, he was always turning heads. But yeah, I mean, reading some of the stuff, listening to some of the videos, and listening to some of the people that are there watching the spring practice and the reps and things. Very few footballs hitting the ground. Does that sound familiar? For those of you who have been around,
a little Jameis action, right?
Yeah, very few footballs hitting the ground, and the ones that are not being caught are not maybe throwaways, like smart decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's focus on the quarterback specifically. I think we all expected. I mean, Jordan Travis just to continue where he left off, right, in December. So I'm not shocked or surprised. I mean, I'm a little surprised to hear remarkable, because sometimes coaches tend to, taper, maybe a little bit of the expectations, or say that, we got a lot of room to go. Now, I'm sure in a week, 2 weeks, Mike Norvell will say something like, disappointing practice today. Really need to see more from them. But, you expect to see Jordan Travis performing. I mean, he's been here forever now, right? I mean, he's definitely no spring chicken anymore. But what I do want to talk about is Tate Rodemaker, AJ Duffy, and Brock Glenn. So I think Tate Rodemaker specifically had some really nice throws and pretty consistent, which is honestly par for the course for Tate in practice, right?
Right. Yeah, we've been hearing that for a while, right? In the practice reps, he tends to do really, really well. And then up until last year at the Louisville game, there wasn't a lot of evidence that would translate to the field. And then it did, right? So, from what I've heard, from what I've read, he looks like a number 2 guy on the depth chart is supposed to look, a number 2 depth chart guy that has been here for a number of years. That's the way you're supposed to look.
Absolutely, and it just sounds like he is Getting to that point where things slow down a little bit and able to process, read, had some really nice throws in the practices that have been reported on. And then finally, Brock Glenn, who is 17 years old, and he is competing in a collegiate spring football practice. And even though, he had his ups and downs in practice, I think the overwhelming consensus is really impressive build for someone his age, strong arm, and surprisingly spry on his feet.
Yeah, so when you compare it, you really can't compare it to, someone that's been in the system for a while, someone that's been in the college game for years. You can't compare to that. The only thing you can compare is maybe like the physical tools, right? So, just again, the things that I've heard and seen on the videos and is that he doesn't lack in that. He doesn't lack in the physical tools, and it just it's brand new. Did you ever start a new job, Ryan?
Just this year, yes.
Yeah. You ever start a new job where all the footballs being thrown in the right way? Where they all, you're just not. And so we have this really, I don't know, just crazy, outrageous expectation of 17-year-olds coming into the program. Unfortunately, 3 years ago, we didn't have the depth that we have now. And
Yeah.
we didn't have the culture that we have now. And so we're kind of relying on those people to, be contributor or more than a contributor, be
Yep.
be a significant part of the team. And man, that's a crazy roller coaster ride when you're depending on kids that, that age. But we don't have to.
Exactly. And I'm actually going to use your job analogy one step further. It's not common that someone hits the ground like is a day one starter when they join a company, but occasionally, and we all know someone like this. If you're at one company for 4, 5, 6 years, there usually is one or two people that you can name that was like, man, they came in, it was immediately contributing and doing big things at the company. It's the same thing in football. You don't expect it to happen. It does happen. So the argument that all fans always use whenever our message boards say, give Brock Glenn some time to develop, and they'll say, well, Jameis, came in and was, amazing from day one. And you're like, well, we cannot compare every quarterback in the country to a future Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. So you just got to play the law of averages. You're going to have most of the time someone who needs to develop.
Yeah, and you're gonna go with the ups and downs with that. And so, and even in the job scenario, you may have someone that comes in and hits the ground running, but are they the best culture fit? You don't know that for a while, unless you've done the due diligence ahead of time to make sure you're only bringing in people, like that. So, and I'm confident in this staff and their ability to only attract as much as possible people that are going to contribute to the culture, elevate the culture, and at the bare minimum, not upset the culture.
Yeah, elevate and execute is what we're looking for here.
And we're looking for a lot of elevation. Yes.
Yeah. Do you think the coaches, before they sign someone, do the 5-hour car ride rule, in which you decide if someone you would like to ride in a car with for 5 hours? Do you think they do that?
I mean, they might. It's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Ryan's throwing out some old school connection that we have, where one of the things that we based our hires on was, would I be willing to sit in a car ride with someone for 5 hours and not want to gnaw my arm off? And that is a good indicator that you at least have the ability to make a connection with someone, right? So
yeah.
I don't know if you want to use that in your everyday life, but
hey,
the 5-hour rule, it ain't bad.
It's not always true. I mean, somehow I managed to join despite failing that.
Right.
No,
hey,
but
anyway,
I'm really excited about this next part, Vince. Like, I'm pumped about one thing: that tight end room. So, Jaheim Bell, Kyle Morlock. What do you got to say on them?
Yeah, when they came in the transfer portal and we got both of those guys, I mean, the first thing everybody thought was, wow, we went from a tight end room that was, paper mache together,
Yep.
just finding some people that would switch to that position, and we didn't really have any kind of real, I don't want to say quality there. It's just because it takes a while for people to kind of, grow into that role, or especially if they're switching from another position. But now, I mean, that room is loaded, and it really was, we were excited about the transfers that came in, but now you're seeing them, on the field. Granted, not in pads. That's the way we should have started this show, Ryan, by the way, is we aren't in pads yet, right? And so being in pads is quite a bit different from, just running around in shorts. But Jaheim Bell, does from an athleticism standpoint, stands out from the rest of the crowd in that room, and but even though we've said that, Marquiston, Biscuit's been apparently catching everything thrown his way. So that is a continuation of the trend he was hitting on, toward the end of the season last year.
For sure. To quote one of the beat reporters at warchant.com, who, if you guys didn't listen to it last week, we had Jeff Cameron of the Jeff Cameron Show on. So if you didn't listen to that, go back and listen. But the quote for Jaheim Bell was, he might be one of the most talented players on the entire football field, by Corey Clark.
Yeah.
That's big news.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how to process that, because, and he knows this, and we all know this, talent doesn't necessarily mean that the, the results are going to be there. There's a lot of people in the world with God-given talent.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens from there. But I guess that's what he's saying is, it's all right there. It's all right there. Ryan and I have a friend of ours that is a big time South Carolina fan, USC Junior, and our farm team, and they when Jaheim Bell came over, he's from South Carolina, right? Just make sure I'm checking my facts here. I believe
you're right.
He is, yeah. He was like, yeah, have them. We don't want them. I was like, really?
Of course.
I think it's a little bit of sour grapes there, right?
Yeah. We've all been there. We've done the same thing.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes a new scenery, a new staff to kind of get more out of you than maybe your old staff was. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Morlock for sure. I mean, that's a step up in competition for him for sure. But yeah, the tight end room, I know it's a long rant here, Ryan. The tight end room is, I don't know, it's like on another planet compared to 2 years ago.
Well, you think about those players, right? Just the instant upgrade. And then you surround them with Winston Wright, Ja'Kai Douglas, Greedy Vance, Johnny Wilson, and Deuce Spann. And you're like, well, this is going to be a problem I would hate to play as. I mean, that's the idea, right?
I mean, pick your poison, I guess, is what we're kind of talking about here. And we got a first-time live watcher here, Philip Magyar. Hello, Philip. Thank you for joining the live. Feel free to chime in with some questions as you have them. Yeah, I mean, pick your poison. So let's continue on that trend, Ryan.
Yeah.
Winston Wright, right?
He's making big moves in practice. I know one highlight catch he had right down the middle. It was from Tate Rodemaker to Winston Wright, and he went up and made in double traffic very tip of the football catch, and it was kind of a highlight reel catch, which was really, really great to see. And I think Winston Wright was someone we were all excited to see, right? And we just, didn't get it last year. Well, I think this is going to be the coming out party.
Yeah, we didn't get it, and I mean, for great reason, right? There was a catastrophic car wreck that he was in, and there was some thought maybe he might, I want to say, lose his leg. I don't know if it was that severe. But everybody, there's a lot of rumor that he was getting close. and we all wanted to see him just for the excitement of it all. Because if you think
Yeah.
about even our wide receiver room over the past 3 or 4 years, it's like that's been gradually building too. And so we were chomping at the bit to just get some quality people in there. And so lo and behold, last season happens, and the wide receiver core takes magnificent steps forward as a unit. And Winston Wright didn't have to play at all, and now, oh, hello there. It's a little Bigfoot sighting.
Yes.
But now he's in, and that's one of the, I don't, if there's ever I don't want to say that someone being out for the spring is a good thing, but Micah Pittman's out for the spring, and so
Yeah.
that's not great. I mean, it's probably not too terrible.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of that is that Winston Wright probably going to get more reps, right?
Yes.
So it's awesome.
What do you think about Winston being out?
Micah Pittman, you mean?
Micah Pittman, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are a handful of guys that are out for the spring. Pittman, Robert Scott is one of
Yep.
them.
Malcolm Ray, Kevin Knowles, and Aaron Hester.
Kevin Knowles and Aaron Hester. So, I mean, Pittman, I don't know that it matters. I don't know that it matters. He's played a lot of college ball, right?
Yep.
And he has plenty of time. I mean, provided what he's out for is not anything significant, which I don't know. It's not going to take him long to get back into shape, quote unquote shape. So, same thing with Scott. Robert Scott's played a lot of ball. I mean, the only thing for Robert Scott's scenario is, there's some brand new offensive linemen in here. That this isn't the offensive line of a couple years ago where if you could breathe, you were playing. There's going to be some competition here. I mean, big time competition.
Yeah, they were handing out leaflets around campus, just seeing if anyone was wanting to play some fun football in the weekend on Saturdays. And
well, you asked the question, Ryan. What do I think about him? Are you insinuating something or?
No, I wonder. I know we don't get into details of reasons why injuries. Right, he's got a knee. Is the old Jimbo quote. So I'm gonna assume that's nothing super serious, just enough to be cautious until fall.
Hey man, think about it. We have the luxury these days of saying, you know what, you're not quite there yet, and you played a lot of ball. We can field 2, 3, 4 deep right now, and what a luxury that is. I mean, we just haven't had that. So if he needs some extra time to heal or whatever it is, I'm not saying it's injury. I don't know. We don't have any inside information, Ryan.
I will say that I'm as excited to see Winston Wright at wide receiver as I am to see him do some kickoff returns.
Yeah, it's going to be. Oh man, I hope the problem, if there is a problem with this, is that I just it's fascinating to me how we're going to settle into who's doing what.
Yep.
Right. It's just fascinating to me.
One thing I do want to mention. Go ahead, Vince.
No, go ahead.
Is Travis Jay still on the team, still doing his thing? If you had polled me at the
I
end
would
of
have lost that bet.
Yeah, at the end of fall last year, I would have said my man would have been in the transfer portal and would have bounced mid-year this past year. And I give him a lot of credit because he hasn't seen the field at all since Willie Taggart left and after when Mike Norvell first came in. I mean, that first year we were kind of running with whatever we got, and he saw some time. But once Mike got his guys in, I mean, Travis Jay has pretty much been a non-factor, like not even involved. Even though he's everyone who sees him, he's an athletic freak. I mean, we've been to a couple of games, Vince. You see him on the sidelines, and he's just gigantic. And so you hope, you just pray that that's the unicorn, right? That one time it just clicks, because that does happen occasionally. I mean, I still think of Kelvin Benjamin was a non-factor until the 2013 season.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to know. Just the fact that he's still on the team is a testament to me that he's he's making strides toward what they need him to do and what they need him to be, and he's not given up. That in and of itself is pretty significant. You think about all the people that leave. For example, Philip asked this question here about offensive line depth. Because of that depth, are people going to be looking to leave? I mean, probably.
Yes.
Probably because people want to play.
Mhm.
But one thing that we have going for us right now, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but one thing we have going for us right now is the culture is sky high.
Yeah.
People don't want to leave, and so that may keep some folks around. And if there's, how do you as a leader? This is a philosophical question. How do you as a leader, you got a group of people that are all just, they're all type A type people, right? And they want to be successful, and they want to be the go-to person. They want to have the accolades or whatever it is. You have all these people.
Yeah.
How do you get them to commit to the team, and for each one of them to understand that the part you're going to play is bigger than the part you want for yourself individually?
Yeah.
Right. That to me is a master. If you can do that, it's just like a master class.
Yeah.
So can Norvell do that? I mean, so far I'd say that the jury says that he's pretty adept at having people tune into what the team needs, and those individual things will come.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's easy for him now because he can point to people who did that who are now in the league,
Right.
and are big time players. I mean, you talk about some really talented people that transferred in or they were developed, and hey, they might have not had like these nationwide leading numbers always in every category, but you know what? They were good team players, and now they're playing on Sundays. So once you can have a culture that proves that, and Alabama does this every year, and so does Georgia. They have so many players. They usually don't have one offensive player that's getting 90% of the catches and putting up
Right.
numbers, but those guys still get drafted because they see that they have dedicated to a system. So I really think offensive linemen, especially with our O-line coach in place, I mean, why would you want to leave? You're seeing nothing but development. Some of these guys who you might think might want to leave, I mean, they were not even close to being decent college football players 2 years ago. And now the fact that they are to a point where they feel like they're good enough to leave should tell you that they've been developed, right? So a healthy program is going to bleed players the same as an unhealthy program. The difference is an unhealthy program will do it when they're extremely thin and they'll still lose people.
Mm-hmm.
A healthy team has depth while still losing and gaining players through the transfer portal. So we've been a good balance for. I mean, we've lost people, but I feel like the people we brought in have more than made up for that.
Yeah, I mean, Philip's right there, right? The O-line used to being role players. I mean, of all the position groups, O-line is the one that has to work in concert the most, right? So those guys probably don't want to brutalize their bodies anyway, with playing 70 snaps a game. So that's you're probably right. That's the one spot where guys are probably going to ride it out, and because of the coach, a lot of it too.
Yep. We did have one operation takeaway. Renardo Green made a one-handed interception.
You want to explain that to the folks out there that may not pay attention as much as we do?
Yeah, operation takeaway during spring or fall is when any defense player has an interception. So Renardo Green picked off Jordan Travis on a one-handed, beautiful interception that he dove and hung onto the ball. And we love Renardo Green, don't we, Vince?
We do. We are part of the Renardo Green fan club.
Army.
Yeah, that's for sure. man, we're just getting deep here. So let's stick with the trenches then, since we're already talking about that. Yeah, we're loaded. We're
Yeah.
loaded on both sides, and it's just with the offensive side of the ball, it's getting the new guys, acclimated and within the rotation and understanding, what Atkins wants them to do. And I don't have any worries about that. I can't
None.
believe I'm even saying those words out loud.
To
I'm
one
not
game
worried
last year, not one game last year where we were like, what is this? What are we doing on offensive line?
Yeah.
Not one.
Not one. And that's just, man, how fortunate are we? And we he got a raise.
He
And
better.
rightly so. I mean, all the coaches got raises, but he got a raise and highly deserved. And the more and the longer we can keep him around, the better. We can't do anything without that group, being what they are and continuing to get better and better. And that's all they've done is get better and better.
Elevate.
Right. The defensive side, just depth there as well.
Everywhere.
I've got no worries about, the tackles. I got really no worries about the ends. I mean, Jared Verse coming back is a huge deal. We've already talked about that, but it gives, another year now for people under him, to continue to develop. It's going to be fun to watch, man.
Vince, we even have depth at kicker.
That's what I hear.
Ryan Fitzgerald and now Tyler Keltner. I think it's good for Ryan Fitzgerald, for someone to be on the roster that has been successful and is a good kicker, because Ryan, let's say, we got really lucky and spoiled as FSU fans over the last 10, 15 years. I mean, you look at just Graham Cano and Dustin Hopkins and, both of the Aguayo brothers, and it's just like we were just rolling in Hall of Fame kickers every single year, and Dustin Hopkins is still one of the best kickers in the NFL. And then we get Ryan Fitzgerald, which for most teams, honestly, like, he's just he's just one of the Joes, right? I mean, he would play on a lot of teams, and we've seen those games on other teams that we follow, and miss kicks and low trajectory kicks and everything. It just hasn't been us for a long time, and now that we've had to kind of deal with this for the last 2 years, we're not used to it. But listen, maybe Tyler Keltner, who transferred to Florida State in the offseason, maybe he pushes them or replaces them. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to need field goals if we want to achieve the aspirations of a minimum an ACC title appearance this year. We're going to have to make kicks.
Yeah, I think if you boil it down, we're going to be heavily favored in a lot of games, which it's nice to say those words again. But there are going to be some games that that's going to be a significant thing. We need to be able to make a kick here and there, and I really truly believe that most of Ryan Fitzgerald's problems last year were due to mechanics tweaking. And I think we're over that now. That's my hope. And depth at the kicking position is a luxury. I mean, we've never seen this other kid kick.
Yeah.
So, but having someone there as kind of someone that wants your job, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to motivate you, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And to finish up our talk on depth, I would encourage everyone. I think this is one of those seasons you should go ahead and just enjoy every last drop of this coming season, because if I were to put percentage on it, I'd say there was over 50% chance that next year we take a step back because of the incredible amount of talented depth we are going to lose. And I know some teams, reload, and we have too in the past, but that's not always the expectation. So I would encourage everyone to really, every game that you're at, every game that you're watching at home, stop thinking about the next week's game and 2 weeks from now game. Sit there and enjoy, when we're inevitably beating someone by 3 touchdowns, instead of going out to the restaurant at halftime because it's already over, stay till the fourth quarter. Support If you're not going to stay there for the team because it's already a blowout, then stay there for the marching chiefs. Stay there
Oh,
for
there
the
you go.
atmosphere, for the weather, right?
That's what I wanted to hear. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We've suffered quite a bit the last few years, and I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's a far reach where we're asking, people to just enjoy the season. I think people will do that, and I think that next year, here's the if we can briefly talk about next year, just briefly,
Yeah.
because it's obviously way far away, but the things that we're doing right now as a team and building on the right, not you. We
Yeah.
don't have any contacts, but the team, the things that they're doing to build this program are the things that, minimize the valleys.
Yeah.
How do you minimize the valleys? Well, you're going to lose your quarterback next year. You can't, he probably could come back again, but he's not going to, right?
He's not. No.
But how do you minimize switching the quarterback? Well, you've got an offensive line that can protect somebody that's new.
Yeah.
You got a defensive front that can, keep the score down. You have a running back room that's very deep. And so you don't have to rely on, a first-time starter, the quarterback, to will your team to victory. So will we take a step back? I think it's hard to say we wouldn't take a step back. But I don't think it's going to be, think about if Jordan was Jordan, right?
Yep.
If Jordan was Jordan, he was the age he is now, but in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that drop off. If that was his last year, right?
Yes.
That would have been like, it would have been like Grand Canyon, like, the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, we don't need to talk about next year. We're talking about this coming year.
Well, I also want to mention though, Vince, like when you talk about losing talent, I mean, healthy program reloads. So you don't have to Gus Malzahn it at Auburn where they, go to the national title and then win 5 games the next year. So what I meant is the drop off might be where instead of going, hopefully maybe 11-1, maybe we go 10-2 or 9-3 with a 10th win in the bowl season. Not a bad year. I don't think we'll have that bad of a year, going forward. But you're putting in place a system to continually have a success. And I actually want everyone, after you're done watching the one and only Garnet and Old Show, go on ESPN or any site.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., by the way.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Go on whatever site of your choice to look up football stats. Pull up Mike Norvell's few years at Memphis. For 2 of those years, he had a really good quarterback that he really liked, and the stats reflect that in passing and in the quarterback's running numbers. And then another 2 years, he didn't have a quarterback that was that dynamic, and you see the running back numbers are eye-popping, like multiple 1,000-yard rushers. And so take solace knowing that.
So the scheme isn't wholly dependent on a
generational
quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not Jimbo. It's not just a gimmick.
It's one of those things that I was just teeing it up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Listen, Mike Norvell knows how to adjust the team based on the skill that's on the team, whereas Jimbo wants the team to match his playbook, and Willie didn't have a playbook. So I think we're in good hands.
You think he's going to have one in the pro team he's going to coach?
No. I mean, the good news is he's coaching running backs. So go fast is actually a very good motivation.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah. Just run over there where there's nobody.
Yeah. Make sure you play good music while you're doing it.
Speaking of coaches, I wanted to bring this up. First thing, just something simple, is that the racing between Norvell and the linemen continues.
Yes.
Which is just fun to watch. And then I know, we keep saying this over and over again. You guys that are watching may not be as in depth, watching this stuff like we are. And you rely on us to do that, and we'll do that. But at every practice, at some point, some of the offensive linemen or defensive linemen, defensive line?
Race, Mike Norvell.
Yeah. Yeah, they race. They kick off and start racing the length of the field, and that continues. And the one that happened yesterday, Norvell actually lost. So so it's fun. It's a fun culture type of thing. So, and the other thing I want to mention about coaches, and maybe not necessarily coaches, but part of the program, if you get a chance to find the interview with Derek Ray, from I think it might have been from the luncheon last week, or it may have been after the
It was the luncheon.
it was the luncheon. Man, what an impressive dude.
Mhm.
And it's just a treat to listen to someone that, obviously knows what he's doing, has a plan, is totally like connected with the coach, and cares about the kids, and just the the eloquence of all that was just I watched that interview, and the reason why I watched that one because I've never heard him really speak before. And it was really a treat. So if you get a chance, Derek Ray, he spells his last name Yray. So you'll have to look for that. So I recommend.
Yeah. And as a preview, and I didn't talk to Vince about this, but I will. Next week, I would like to do a state of the program for basketball. Today, FSU lost 31-30, knocking them out and ending their season in heartbreaking fashion as they were up 10 points at one point in the second half, and lost on a free throw at the end. So
Yeah, they did. And Matthew Cleveland went out with an injury early in that game. I think he came back in. But yeah, I mean, it's really a fitting, and we'll save that for next week. And we won't spend obviously the whole show on it because the season is over.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should probably chat a little bit about that for sure. That would be great. That'd be great to talk about that.
Because I don't know if you know this, Vince, or not, but a lot of fans have strong opinions about Leonard Hamilton. I don't know if you've heard that.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt they do, and they would be. I don't want to say that whether they're right or wrong. They were wrong for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But now, we'll save it for next.
Yeah,
we'll save it for next week.
To wrap it up, though, Vince, I will say this:
what's coming up, Ryan?
We got some fun stuff coming up because we're going to the spring game when it's all wrapped up, right?
We are. We're going to the spring game, and that will be April 14th
Mm-hmm.
at 4 p.m. Or I'm sorry, April 15th at 4 p.m. So get your taxes in, and then spend your refund, at the Garnet and Gold game, or the spring game. Do they still call it the Garnet and Gold game? I don't know that they do.
No, but I'm still going to protect a Florida State win in that game.
Yeah, that's probably a good call on that. We mentioned last week, Ryan and I will both be there. We will both be without our extended family. Ryan and I will be going on our lonesome to that event. So if anyone else is going, let us know.
Tailgate time. Let's do it.
Let us know, and we can hang out together. Also going on this week, though, tomorrow is FSU's Great Give. And the Great Give is just is 1 day fundraising, and there's all kind of little things that go on with the Great Give where if you donate, there's certain prizes that different groups are trying to hit.
Yeah.
For example, like during the time between 2 and 3, maybe the College of Education is trying to get 75 donors at that point. If they get 75 donors, then they get a bonus on top of whatever it is that they. So there's all these things that are going on all day long. Yeah. And one of the things that's happening tomorrow with the College of Music for the Great Give is Chiefs United. So if everybody knows my heart. If you listen to the show, you know my heart. Chiefs. This isn't necessarily for them to be able to travel, this particular thing tomorrow. This is Chiefs United, which is they're trying to raise money to reduce the amount that it costs for students to be a part of the Chiefs. Florida State does not provide stipend. Well, when they go on when they go on trips, they give them per diem, right? But they're not getting like dollars to just be in the Chiefs. So, and it costs money, right? It costs money for them to do it. And so this part of this, or this money would go toward offsetting that cost, with the end goal of Chiefs United is being able to have the Chiefs not have to outlay a dime.
Yeah.
If you make the group, you audition, you make it, that those fees for whatever it is you have to get, shoes, shirt, and all the things that come with the uniform, that they wouldn't have to pay anything. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Chiefs
I
United.
gave it The Office.
You give, I'm giving all the time.
Yeah. I do want to say though, Vince, because we'll wrap up the show and end it, but I do want to say a very happy 18th birthday, Vince, to your daughter.
Oh yeah. Yes. Coming in hot tonight. It's my daughter's 18th birthday today. If you've watched the show, you've seen her. She was a guest host one day when Ryan was on a cruise.
Excellent guest host.
Excellent guest host. Knows her stuff. And she turned 18 today. And proud of her. She's got her ducks in a row. She's going to be graduating high school here soon and going off to college.
And at that, I think that's a fantastic place to end until next week.
Yeah, Garnet and Old Show, live on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., even when it's my daughter's 18th birthday.
Yeah, so like, share, subscribe. Please let people know to watch the show live or on all podcast services the morning following the live show.
Absolutely. And Ryan, appreciate you coordinating your issues there at the beginning of the show. I appreciate all the effort you did to get back online there. Good work on your part.
Execute.
This is Garnet and Old Show. Thanks for tuning in, folks. It's no inside info, no contacts, no problem.
Go Noles.
Go Noles.